And welcome to Fredonia, New York on this August 5th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. We'll call to order this meeting. Roll call the trustees. Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Trustee Wendell.
Here.
Trustee Syracuse.
Here.
Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Brockler is off tonight. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to call, I hate to do this, but we have to call an executive session to discuss a contractual matter that's going to come before us tonight. Can I have a motion to go into executive session, please?
I make a motion that we enter into executive session for legal advice from our legal counsel.
I'll second that.
Okay. Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to make it as quick as possible. We have approval of minutes, please.
Whereas members of this board have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of July 22nd, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand at the microphone and state their name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes of speaking for themselves or 5 minutes of speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board.
First person is Dan Pagos. Did I pronounce that right?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson and the board. My name is Dan Pecos, 110 Johnson Street, Fredonia. I'm here to speak about my position as the chairman of the board of directors of the North Chautauqua County Water District. Over the past several meetings, I've heard comments raised by board members as well as audience members about my position as chairman of the board of directors, in addition to serving as the town supervisor. And I wanted to clarify that, dispel any rumors, answer any questions that you might have. When I was elected to the town supervisor position and began my role in 2020, I found out that in addition to serving as the town supervisor, I was also elected to the North Chautauqua County Water District Board of Directors. It was one of those, oh, by the way, you're also doing this. So I joined the board. The board is made up of 13 people. The supervisors of the towns of Dunkirk, Pomfret, Portland, Sheridan, the mayor of Brockton. There's a representative from the Industrial Water District, the County Industrial Water District. There are 3 county legislators and 2 members of the public at large. So I'm 1 vote out of 13. When I began, the former Pomfret supervisor had served as the chairman of the board of directors. The position was then taken over by Dunkirk supervisor Richard Pearl at the time. Fast forward a couple of years, February 2023, Supervisor Pearl passed away suddenly. Supervisor Walker from Sheridan had been vice chair. He moved up to the chairman seat. In the meantime, the Brockton mayor did not run for re-election. The Portland supervisor did not run for re-election, so we had new people in those seats. I was voted in as the vice chairman of the board. 3 months later, my friend John Walker from Sheridan passed away suddenly, and I was elected chairman with 3 years' experience because I was most senior. I can tell you there is no conflict of interest with me serving in both of these roles. I have no financial interest in the county water district. I get no compensation. It is a volunteer position. And your attorney could speak to the fact that there is no conflict of interest because I have no financial gain from serving on that board. My comments to Mayor Ferguson and Trustee Esperson about our Phase 2 and Phase 3 additions for the Town of Pomfret project. My understanding is the village board has made the decision that you were going to purchase water from Dunkirk or from the North County Water District. Our point is the village, my understanding, the village doesn't have the capacity, the water capacity to serve our additional customers in phases 2 and 3. So we're looking to the North County Water District for our water. I reached out a hand to your board saying, look, while we're doing our project, if we're putting in a tank, we can upsize the tank and serve possibly both communities. So I'm not trying to advocate for business. I'm not trying to poach water customers away. A friend of mine from high school asked me to make sure that I look out for the village residents, and because village residents are also town residents, I tried to do that. So I reached out and said, if you're interested, we could possibly save you money. Question came up about where I got my figures. Your Labella study and the PowerPoint show estimated a $17 million cost for the interconnection to the city of Dunkirk. That was without soft costs and interest over 30 or more years. That could easily be $25 to $30 million when you add that all up. So when I said we could possibly save you tens of millions of dollars, I was serious. That's my background in accounting and finance. I do this for a living and done it for over 35 years. So I wasn't just pulling numbers out of the air.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions that I can answer about the North County Water District?
We do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Catherine and Nelden.
Catherine Melvin, Fredonia. Last meeting on July 22nd, 2024, Mayor Ferguson made some off-the-cuff remarks. One was about the pup crawl on July 13th, 2024. I agree with Mayor Ferguson that the charity Positive Heroes is a cause worth celebrating and supporting. However, I was surprised that Mayor Ferguson participated and then praised this fundraiser. This public fundraiser was discriminatory and violated the civil rights of people with disabilities, as 60% of the bars, places of public accommodation which serve alcoholic beverages, were and are not accessible to people with disabilities. I am saddened that Mayor Ferguson did not realize this. I am disappointed with the example that Mayor Ferguson has set, especially since I stood at the same podium on July 8, 2024, to remind the village of Fredonia that July was National Disability Pride Month and the 34th anniversary of the passage of the Americans with Disability Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Parker, Fredonia.
Hi, I'm Susan Parker. I live at 82 Newton Street, and I am here. First of all, I wanted to thank the Safe Streets work group that has been working for more than a year on this project, which actually includes Michelle Twitchell, Paul Wendell, and Nicole Syracuse, and also the chief of police and the DPW supervisor. I also wanted to thank the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation for their funding that they have given towards this project. Also the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation of the Greater Buffalo Community Foundation, and I have to get this right, it's the Chautauqua County Region Economic Development Corporation. So those three organizations have given grant money. We applied for grant money for this project, the Go Bike project. I am here to answer questions if you have any about any aspect of the project. So I just wanted to let you know I'm here, and thank you.
Thank you. Sandrea, Fredonia.
There's a couple topics that I wanted to address tonight. Thank you, Mayor and Board. The first is the spending procedures resolution. This proposed resolution will definitely help in administering the village budget and expenditures, and it's a good resolution, and it's consistent and complies with our village charter. This is a great time to briefly, and I'll make this brief as I can, to review the important provisions of our charter, because our charter is state law and it controls. There's also the state village law, but the state charter comes first. The charter states it shall be the duty of the Board of Trustees to audit and allow claims and accounts against the village, and to direct the manner in which the warrants for the payment of money shall be drawn on the treasury. There's no monetary limit in the charter regarding claims to be approved by the Board of Trustees. Regarding the duties of the treasurer, the charter states all monies shall be drawn by the treasurer in pursuance to a resolution of the Board of Trustees specifying for what purpose they shall be drawn. Thus, the village treasurer cannot pay any claim unless a claim is first approved by the village board. To ask the village treasurer to pay a claim which has been incurred by a department head or anyone else without obtaining village board approval violates the village charter, and it's unfair to the village treasurer to put her in that position. The department head should seek board approval first before incurring any village debt or asking the village treasurer to pay a claim. There are no exceptions to this law. There are exceptions to this law, such as approved salaries, recurring bills such as utilities, and so forth. In addition, any change order to a village contract, no matter what the amount, needs prior village approval. That's my first. The second concern I had is the proposed resolution concerning the Central Connection Design Project. I reviewed it. In my opinion, it does not comply with Section 1234 of the Vehicle and Traffic Law. In particular, there are signs posted and depicted in the design presented by Go Bikes directing bicycles where there's no bike lane to use the full street lane where motor vehicle traffic also exists. These signs violate Section 1234 of the Vehicle and Traffic Law, which requires that where there is no bike lane provided, bicycles should be driven near the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway, unless when making a left-hand turn are necessary to avoid unsafe restrictions. When deviating from the right side of the street to avoid a parked car, that's not a license to continue to use the full lane of the street. Not only do such signs violate the V&T law, allowing bicyclists to use the full lane of the street with automobiles, and advertising it with signage will create a very dangerous condition and can easily result in a serious accident. In addition, there is signage proposed in the middle of the street indicating bicycles can use the entire center line of the street. The village board should not approve any signage that violates the letter and intent of the New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law. I personally witnessed a close accident about 3 months ago. A bicycle was in the middle of Temple Street. Behind it was a police car. It could not pass. It was slow, and this bicycle was right in the middle of the street. We can't allow that to happen. We can't allow a dangerous condition to exist. If we do and we condone these signs, we could be a defendant in a lawsuit because we allow illegal signs to be posted. So I'm against that resolution. It needs further study, Mayor.
Thank you. James Linden.
Good evening, James Linden. I too am addressing the resolution that has to do with the finances of the village. This village board accepts the responsibility when they take office of charged with the fiscal responsibility of the village. The resolution will not do enough to fix your disaster. The treasurer is supposed to account for she's supposed to account for every cent that's spent. And she normally does. All the contracts, as it states in the contracts, should be approved. Well, they've always supposed to have been approved by this board. All contracts have to be approved by this board. So this resolution just does not do enough. Please stop your gaslighting. It was brought to your attention that the budget by several of the residents and past officials that this budget was unsustainable and you were overspending. Take the responsibility and address the tough and necessary decisions in the budget itself. You have the ability to readdress your budget. It's not a tax increase that we need. As the mayor has said, housing builders or developers are stymied by the shock of tax bills. You don't need to increase your taxes, you need to address your budget. That's it for that portion. Now, from what Mr. Pecos has said, clearly there's some information that's not being passed on to him, having to do with the water district because, our water supply, I should say. There's been new numbers associated, as I said and listened to this board, new numbers associated with changing pretty much everything, all the calculations that have to do with that information that was presented that Mr. Pecos was referring to in that study. Our ability to supply has changed. The facility has been completely updated to meet the requirements of the county. There needs to be a better accountability from this board. The village should not lose the water sales to the town. Matter of fact, that they should be looking forward to helping them, helping and supply, the village supply the town of Pomfret with all of the water they need for their additional districts. And I believe that that can happen. And that would give the revenue needed for this village to continue to maintain its infrastructure. And would assist the town of Pomfret as they wish. Thank you very much.
Dan Berg, Fredonia Firefighters.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Village Board. I'm Daniel Berg, firefighter, paramedic, and president of the Fredonia Professional Firefighters Association, IFF Local 2931. I'm joined today by slightly less numerous now, but numerous members of our union. I'm here to state that the village must compensate firefighter PZAC to attend paramedic school. This issue is not just a financial necessity for the village, but also a critical operational requirement for our community. Let me begin with a clarification. It was read in the last meeting that firefighter PZAC would be attending paramedic school regardless of whether or not he was compensated for his class time. Through talking to him, that statement was misconstrued from a conversation in which he expressed that he wanted to continue forward with the process so as not to lose his spot in the class while the process was waiting for a final decision. However, he is not certain that he is willing to take on the financial strain of attending paramedic school without fair compensation. The compensation for class time is not going to make firefighter PZAC rich. Being compensated for class time will nearly offset the burden he is willing to take on for the betterment of the fire department. Real out-of-pocket expenses he would face include child care costs for class time and clinical, as well as gas for his vehicle to drive from class to work. This is compounded by his inability to pick up overtime shifts or answer emergency call-ins because his schedule will be consumed with classroom and clinical commitments. Since a firefighter resigned earlier this year, the village has seen firsthand how being short even one full-time firefighter paramedic leads to excessive overtime costs amounting to $6,000 or more every month. The village is contractually required to have 2 paramedic or critical care level providers on duty at all times. If you fail to support firefighter PZAC's paramedic training now, you will face even higher overtime costs in the future. I myself will be moving on from my position in the fire department in a little over a month, and one of our lieutenants is going to be retiring in June of next year. As the chief can attest, it is nearly impossible to find a paramedic that is qualified to fill the position. It took nearly 6 months to find a replacement for the most recent vacancy. Sending and supporting firefighter PZAC through paramedic school this year is going to be the light at the end of the tunnel. If you choose not to compensate him and wait an additional year, it will cost tens of thousands of dollars more than the amount required to send him today. From the workshop, I have been made aware that the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Company has generously offered to cover his tuition and book costs, a gesture that we as the union greatly appreciate. The Volunteer Fire Company has agreed that it is incredibly beneficial to the fire department and community as a whole that firefighter PZAC obtains a paramedic certification. However, it is unacceptable for them to bear these costs while the village shirks its responsibility to compensate the firefighter for his time. This offer was made as a solution to financial constraints, enabling the village to compensate firefighter PZAC rather than allowing them to avoid their obligations altogether while benefiting from the generosity of the Volunteer Fire Company. Earlier this year, the village invested in overtime costs for line officers to attend the New York State Buildings Codes classes. Despite the fact that codes responsibilities were never transferred to the fire department, the village recognized the value in compensating those officers for their time. It is crucial that the same principle be applied here. The cost of compensating our firefighter for paramedic school is significantly lower and offers tangible, proven return on investment for the village. In closing, compensating our firefighter for his time attending paramedic class is not merely a matter of financial impact, but it is also the right thing to do. The village is incredibly fortunate to have a dedicated employee willing and eager to further his career, a move that would tremendously benefit the village, taxpayers, and entire community as a whole. It will reduce long-term overtime costs, ensure fairness, and boost employee morale by demonstrating a strong commitment to our dedicated employees. The village board must pass a resolution to fully compensate firefighter Cusack for his class time. This is essential for maintaining the Fredonia Fire Department's high standard of advanced life support and operational readiness. Thank you for your time and attention.
Is there anyone else to speak before the board? That was the last sign-up sheet. With that, that'll close this public portion of the meeting. Thank you for everyone who spoke. Appreciate your time. Correspondence.
Correspondence dated July 25th, 2024 was received from Officer Michael Hodkin informing the village that he will be retiring effective July 31st, 2024.
Be resolved that the retirement of Officer Michael Hodkin is hereby approved, and the mayor is directed to send a thank you to Mr. Hodkin, thanking him for his 20 years of service to the village of Fredonia.
Second this.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Officer Hodkin, please accept our thanks for your dedication, not only for yourself, but your family, your loved ones, and the time that you've dedicated to this village. We salute you and we thank you, and we'll be doing it properly very soon. Thank you very much.
Correspondence dated July 19th, 2024 was received from Lieutenant Tim Winters, Chairman of the MDA Boot Drive Committee, requesting permission to hold the annual Muscular Dystrophy Association Boot Drive on August 30th, 2024.
Be it resolved that the request to hold the 11th annual MDA Fill the Boot Drive on Friday, August 30th, 2024 for approximately 8 hours at the intersection of Temple and Church is hereby approved, and be it further resolved that on-duty firefighters will remain in service and available to respond to any calls during this time.
Second.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Correspondence dated July 29th, 2024 was received from Julie Delcamp requesting to set up a vendor booth in Barker Common during our Wednesday night summer music series.
Be resolved that the request for Julie Delcamp to set up a vendor booth in Barker Common on the following dates: August 7th, August 14th, and August 21st from 6:30 to 8:30 is hereby approved. Be it further resolved that Delcamps will provide the village clerk's office with a certificate of liability insurance showing the village of Fredonia as additionally insured in the amount of $1 million.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
I will let people know that I do not have a mayor's report for you tonight for the first time. I was out with COVID last week and about for a week and a half. But I assure you during that time, we attended many of the Zoom conferences I could, some with voice, some without voice. And I'll be giving you an updated report both on Wednesday at our workshop and again at the following meeting. But I assured you that during that time, we did as much of the village's business as I could. And just will tell you to protect yourself because apparently it's back. Trustee committee reports. Trustee Brockler is not here. Trustee Syracuse.
So, given the information that we just received from the union, that the volunteer fire company will potentially be paying for part of that, I just want to point out that the resolution just reads a cap. It doesn't say what that's supposed to be spent on. It doesn't designate. So if the class and books are purchased with who knows what, couch lint, who knows, that $10,000 then is available for whatever the chief deems necessary. And we thank the volunteer company for that generous offer. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Twitchell.
Yes, I also want to congratulate Michael Hodkin on his 20 years of service. He's a wonderful young officer and we'll really miss him. He was great for our village. And also the Recreation Department is closing up their final week with children at the playground. And there will be a play they will be presenting at the Fredonia Opera House, Mother Duck and the Golden Goose at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And I hope people come in and watch the hard work of these young individuals that have taken on to become actors for this presentation. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Wandell.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. I have been working on the Go Bike initiative with County Legislator Parker. I think we're at a point now, obviously that's on the agenda for tonight, the resolution. I feel very confident in that. I think that I know there are still some concerns, but I'm sure that we'll be able to address all of those. So I believe that's a positive action for this community. Secondly, wastewater treatment plant, I'm continuing my work for continued confronting issues with that, working closely with that department head, David Felt, and we're on a good track. One last thing that I'd like to mention is there is an initiative that I'm going to be launching for hopefully all department heads in the village, and that's called asset management. It's a tool. So I can't strike a nail very hard with my hand, but I can use a hammer, and the hammer is the tool. So if we can develop tools and structures to help our departments operate more efficiently, more streamlined, more cost-effective, smoother operation. So I'm working on developing that, as well as preventative and predictive maintenance programs, primarily with the DPW department. That's it.
I also want to thank you for touring, was it North Tonawanda or the city
It's
of Tonawanda?
the town of Tonawanda.
Town of Tonawanda's water treatment plant and also their wastewater treatment plant, and your reports on that. So you came back with some
Thank you.
great information.
And they will be coming to our village just to observe our operations here as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow, hopefully, weather permitting, is first night out, Russell Joy Park, sponsored by the police department. I had a chance to sit down with Chief Price and discuss some manpower issues and his potential move into the room that's now occupied by the cable. I had a chance to meet with Chief Myers to address concerns, discussing personnel, budget, and upcoming contract negotiations. I reported a couple, maybe a month ago, that we had, that our engineers had a chance to meet with the town of Pomfret's engineers. Following their meeting, they were going to get back together again and have another discussion. They had questions that they want answered in their respective communities, and they had met again last Wednesday. Following that meeting, we met with the town of Pomfret officials, your village water committee, the mayor, treasurer, water treatment plant operator, the Sauk County Department of Health, Labella, and CPL, the engineers for the town of Pomfret. Briefly, what the engineers, the plan that they are, I think, ready to recommend is they would divide the village of Fredonia into two different zones. There would be a north pressure zone. The village would be split into two pressure zones to address ultra-high pressures on the north side. The plan would decrease pressure from approximately over 110 to less than 85 psi. The northern pressure zone would be supplied by water through existing connections on the west and east village boundaries where metering pits are currently present. These connections on the east and west village boundaries would be pressure and flow regulated by control valves. Sequentially, the village north pressure zone would be supplied through these connections until the Webster Road water storage tank fills to a certain level. Then these control valves will close and allow the Webster Road storage tank to supply the north pressure zone. Once the Webster Road storage tank level decreases to a certain level, the control valves open and the sequence would be repeated. The north pressure zone, water, demand, and fire protection would be supplied by the Webster Road water storage tank and North County Water District storage tanks. The southern pressure zone would include anticipating the installation of 4 pressure reducing valves to limit pressure on the north side of the village. Water supply to meet daily demands, fire flow demands, and adequate pressure would be met through the potential Town of Pomfret Village Fredonia shared water storage tank to be constructed somewhere along Fredonia-Stockton Road. This proposed water storage tank would supply water to the village and the town. The pressure release valves would be necessary in the southern border of the village. Metering pits would remain in place, all existing. They're all existing, not proposed on all borders of the village. Required infrastructure to allow water supply to the village, the infrastructure either already exists or is in design or is in construction. The only shared infrastructure is a new tank on Stockton Road, planned to be town-owned at present. CPL noted when the tank is bid, the base bid could be a tank the size needed for the town and the North County Water District, and an alternate could be a larger tank that could supply the village. This approach would give clarity about the exact cost difference between the two sizes to all parties involved to facilitate determining cost sharing. There are non-monetary benefits of this concept. The largest non-monetary benefit of the proposed interconnection with North County Water District and the town would be that the village system would be entirely gravity fed, except during emergencies when the Vineyard Dry Pump Station would be running. The village water system would retain already existing water flow paths, mainly south to north, rather than potentially pump north to south water path. The potential interconnection option with North County Water District would allow for multiple avenues of water supply to the village, rather than a single supply through the water treatment plant or Dunkirk. Obviously, there's still work to be done. That is the plan, or that's what both engineering firms believe is our best path forward. There's still work to be done that they're undertaking. When we meet again, I'll report on that outcome.
Thank you.
That's all I had.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, that's all I have.
Treasurer's report.
The financial information for June 2024, income for the month was $3,520,000, $179,000 of which was non-tax related income. Expenses $509,023 for a net income of $3,011,018. Water income was $146,630. Expenses $122,959 for a net income of $23,671. Sewer income is $109,137. Expenses $139,983 for a net income of negative $30,846. That's it.
Thank you. There's no additional reports for tonight. Resolutions.
Whereas the village requires the services of a dog control officer as defined by New York Agriculture and Markets Law 5-108, and whereas Jasmine Griffith has the knowledge required to perform and provide the services of a dog control officer and is ready and willing and able to provide such services on an independent contractor basis in a professional manner, now therefore be it resolved, the independent contractor agreement, dog control services between the Village of Fredonia and Jasmine Griffith dated August 5th, 2024 at a billable monthly rate of $333, and be it further resolved that Mayor Ferguson is hereby authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Before we go any further on that, I would like, Alyssa, if you could do me a favor, I'd like to see how much was brought in that particular area, dog control officer, and how many reports. I know the police get the reports first, right? That goes to the.
Yes.
So would we get that, chief, from you, or would we get that directly from the officer's reports?
You request it, and we'll produce it.
Thank you, sir. All right, next.
Be it resolved that the request of Brendan Pizak to attend New York State Paramedic Program at Erie County Community College beginning August 27th, 2024, concluding August 21st, 2025 at a cost not to exceed $10,000 is hereby approved.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Approved.
Whereas the village is responsible for the building repairs at the Darwin R. Barker Historical Museum, and whereas Hawk Construction LLC, Fredonia, New York, has offered a quote in the amount of $2,485 to make the necessary repairs to fascia board and replacement of a new section of gutters, and whereas the gutter and fascia repairs are necessary for the village of Fredonia, now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby authorizes Hawk Construction LLC to make the necessary gutter and fascia board repairs to the museum in the amount of $2,485.
Second.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye. Whereas the Village of Fredonia has had significant deficiencies within the budget, whereas the Village of Fredonia needs to adjust the processes in which monies are being expended, and whereas these emergency spending processes will be effective immediately and until further notice. Now therefore, the financial handbook states that all purchases over $500 are to receive prior approval through a purchase requisition. Effective immediately, all purchases are required to be done through a purchase requisition approved before the purchase is made regardless of the dollar amount. There are to be no new contracts put in place without prior board approval. No invoices which have not received prior approval will have payments processed by the village. Any contracts already in place have been accounted for and do not require monthly approvals. Be resolved, the village board authorizes the implementation of the emergency spending plan effective immediately.
Second.
Before we take a vote, I want to let the board know I'll be submitting a resolution in our next workshop for possible approval at the next board meeting to extend this deficiency control tool through the 2026 budget, and then for further review after that. Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas the village requires the demolition of a structure and haul away of all materials for the property located at 18 Porter Avenue for the Department of Public Works, and whereas JJ Abatement Services LLC of Lakewood, New York, provided a quote for the demolition and cleanup of the property in the amount of $4,000, not to include tipping fees, and whereas the destruction and cleanup of this property is necessary for the village's purposes. Therefore, be it resolved that the village board hereby authorizes J&J Abatement Services LLC to be paid $4,000 for the property at 18 Porter Avenue.
Second.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Before we go further on that, so that people understand the importance and the reason why this has to be taken down at this time, there's been a grant that was approved for work on Canada Way Creek, that by removing that house, the county, and I believe the DEC is already going to be in another part of Canada Way Creek doing other work, will save the village and them money by allowing us to go forward and complete both sides of the project by having that house removed. Could not be done without that house removal. So I thank the board for passing it.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstract number 725 through number 728 are hereby approved and directed paid and available in the village clerk's office, 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye. Whereas the village requires the payment of fees for the impounding of dogs within village limits. And whereas the current fee structure requires updating, and whereas the following fee structure will be implemented immediately to assist with covering fees for the impounding of dogs. Day 1, $40. Day 2, $60. Day 3, $80. Day 4, $100. Day 5, $120. Be it resolved that the village board hereby authorizes the implementation of the fee structure for the impounding of dogs.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has determined a need for a part-time firefighter at the fire station, now be it resolved, the village is hereby authorized to advertise for said position in the Observer, the official newspaper of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has determined a need for a full-time paramedic at the fire station, now therefore be resolved, the village is hereby authorized to advertise for said position in the Observer, the official newspaper of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
It's almost bill season.
Before we move to this next one, can we change it from officer to dispatcher, since we're already addressing the officer this evening?
Yeah, officers will walk on, so.
So this would be for dispatch, full-time dispatcher instead of police officer.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has determined a need for a full-time police dispatcher for the Village of Fredonia Police Station, now therefore be it resolved that the village is hereby authorized to advertise for said position in the Observer, the official newspaper of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye. Whereas the Village of Fredonia seeks an engineering firm to solicit proposal for an engineer of record for the Village of Fredonia. Whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 103, the village intends to seek proposals prior to entering into any public work contract. And whereas the village desires to issue a request for proposals to solicit proposals for an engineer of record for the Village of Fredonia, now therefore be resolved, the village hereby authorizes the village treasurer and or her designee to draft and issue an RFP for the project.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia adopted a complete streets policy in 2014 and committed to support bicycle, pedestrian, and all user access regardless of age or ability to the Village of Fredonia streets when undertaking street design improvements. And whereas the Chautauqua Region Economic Development Corporation, CREDC, with the support of the Village of Fredonia, City of Dunkirk, and City of Fredonia, applied for grant funding to collaborate on a central connection design project on Central Avenue involving the two municipalities and the university. And whereas the design and access grant was approved and funded for the Central Connection Design Project is provided by the Ralph C. Wilson Legacy Funds at the Community Foundation for Buffalo, Chautauqua County Partnership for Economic Growth, and the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, LED Fund, and whereas Go Bike Buffalo, a community-based advocacy organization committed to helping communities throughout Western New York design and implement complete streets projects, has designed a proposed project benefiting this village and SUNY Fredonia through a process of community and stakeholder engagement, as well as partner project with the adjoining city of Dunkirk. And whereas Go Bike has worked with the Village of Fredonia Safe Streets Work Group, the village board, and community stakeholders to develop this proposal, which has been reviewed and approved by the Fredonia Planning Board. And whereas Go Bike has provided an annotated document and the following project element listing as evidence of the work they will perform. 1. 8-foot wide continental style crosswalks and 18-inch wide stop lines to be added at each side street crossing the side street. 2. At signalized intersections, crosswalks will be refreshed. 3. The existing mid-block crosswalk on the south leg at the Ford's intersection will be refreshed and the curb radii will be painted blue and the northeast and southeast corners. 4. Bike shadows to be added to southbound travel lanes approximately every 250 feet between Maple and Temple. 5. Bike shadows to be added to the north leg southbound travel lane at College Parkway. 6. Bike shadows to be added to the northbound lane between Lowell Place and College Parkway. 7. Bike symbols with accompanying directional arrows will be added to existing bike lanes marked approximately every 250 feet. 8. At intersections, white dotted double white dotted bike lane continuation lines to be added across intersections between Curtis and Middlesex. Green paint will be added between dotted bike lane continuation lines, and solid green paint added within bike lane on opposite sides of TEE intersections. 9, white painted edge lines will be added at intersections to define a 15-foot turning radii around intersecting bike lanes. 10, a single yellow dotted line for eastbound left turning vehicles at Temple and Central will be added. 11, 1 foot wide white hatches will be added every 10 feet between the existing 2-foot bike lane buffer lines, generally between Day and Middlesex northbound and Maple and Middlesex southbound, except as noted above. 12, a hatched yellow painted median extension between the stop line and existing grass center median at Birchwood Drive will be added. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Fredonia Board of Trustees hereby accepts and approves the Go Bike proposal as funded above and at no additional cost to the village, and be it further resolved that the Village Board of Trustees authorizes the Department of Public Works and Police Department to facilitate Go Bike Buffalo's work on behalf of the village.
Second.
Trustee Wandell.
I vote aye on this. I just want to present this to the public. This is the annotated document that was referred to in the resolution. I went through it thoroughly this morning. I also had discussion with County Legislator Parker on this extensively, and everything looks good. So I vote aye.
I do want people to know that this was also passed by the Planning Board, as was suggested to bring it before the Planning Board. And previous to this meeting, I had a chance to meet with Brian Luce, who had a question about particular signage, and was assured that signage can be added or removed at the discretion of the village, depending upon whether we feel that there's safety concerns once things have been implemented. So with that, Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wandell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
I'm going to vote aye, and I want to remind the public that this is not a permanent change. It's a temporary change. It's paint. There's going to be no new cement, asphalt, whatever. If over the course of time we see that it's not effective, then we can just change it. But it's a temporary, yes. But I'm going to vote aye.
Okay,
Go ahead.
can I say? So, and also Go Bike is doing a post implementation engineering study. Sorry.
Okay, I want to thank Legislator Parker and the team, including many of the people in this room, and our police chief, for putting their 2 cents in on this plan, for being available to discuss this plan along with the people from Go Bike. We appreciate your efforts in making this happen. We have a walk-on. You have that
Yeah.
before you?
Question about this calling for the public hearing. Did we need to have this law on our desk for 7 days first?
Yes, that's why I took it off of the agenda for tonight.
Got it. It was still in my pile.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Be it resolved that Tyler Simpson, Cherry Creek, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of full-time police officer effective August 19th, 2024, a lateral transfer and no probation at a rate of pay $31.13 per hour, subject to all civil service rules and regulations.
Second?
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wandell?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Before I close the meeting, I want to take a moment as your mayor to thank you to our firefighters that are here, our police officers that are here, and to all police, fire, EMTs, and those that serve for the public safety. Thank you for the work that you do for not only our community, but throughout Chicago County. We appreciate it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to close this section of the meeting.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Wandell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
And Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next Village of Fredonia workshop will take place Wednesday, August 14th at 9 a.m. in the trustee room, second floor of Village Hall. Come and enjoy the fun. And the next Village of Fredonia board meeting will take place on Monday, August 19th, 2024, 7 p.m. in this very room on this very channel we hold. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe and enjoy Village of Fredonia.